Good morning. Today we are continuing working with our areas. And today, instead of working with rectangles and squares, we are going to be doing CO67, calculating the area of a parallelogram. So we're going to talk about what a parallelogram is and how we find its area. So yesterday's was an easier objective because we've worked with squares and rectangles before. It's not that it's going to be harder, it's just new. Okay, so today's area, we have to remember the formula of how to find it. All right, so first thing first, what is the area? We had that from yesterday. Before I do that, I have some, I forgot to pass out the notes pages. Let me get these passed out real quick. Okay. So the area is the same definition we had yesterday. We keep rewriting it because it's that important to understand what area means. Area is the number of square units needed to cover a figure. So remember, if we were putting that nice dirt for our garden inside that garden, if the area is how much we would need to cover that space. Now we have a new shape. Yesterday we talked about rectangles and squares. Today we're going to talk about a different quadrilateral. That means it has 4 sides. This one is called a parallelogram. So the parallelogram is a quadrilateral with 2 pairs of parallel sides. Who can tell me what parallel means? Adeline. Not the same, that's congruent. Not symmetrical. Emma? They're never going to touch. So they're going to go straight, but they're never going to touch. So when we look at a parallelogram, we have one side going like that, another one going like that. They can keep on going and going and going, and they're never going to touch. It's not like we had one line that was going like this and another one that was going like that, because we know eventually they're going to connect. Okay, so those would not be parallel. Lines that can go on and on and on forever without touching are parallel. So a parallelogram has the 2 top sides are the 2 going horizontally are parallel, and our diagonal sides are parallel. So they're going to keep going on and on and on. Not a rectangle. Rectangles have parallel sides, but they have the right angles to them. Parallelogram will have the top and the bottom horizontal, and then they have diagonals that will never touch. So that's what our parallelogram looks like. The formula to find the area of a parallelogram is very similar to finding the area of a rectangle. But we call it base times height. Instead of length times width, we call it base times height. Our base is our bottom line, base bottom, right? Base will be the bottom line. And our height, any guess on how we find our height? Lila? It's going to be the line that goes straight from the base to the top line. So it's gonna go perpendicular up. Perpendicular means it makes that right angle. So we have our bottom base, and then we have a line that goes directly up. Now sometimes you'll be given, so this is our height. Sometimes you're given a number here, you're given a number here, and then you're given a number on that diagonal. You don't need the diagonal. Don't use the diagonal. Every time I have students who fall for it, and they'll say base, and they'll think the diagonal is the height. The diagonal is not the height. It's extra information to make sure you understand what the height is. So if you have a number at the diagonal, we cross it off. We only use that if we need to find what. What do you think we would use that for, Emma? Perimeter. The only time we use diagonals is in a perimeter when we're talking about parallelograms. Okay. In a parallelogram, we want the height to find the area. Same thing with triangles and trapezoids. Okay, we're going to hear this over and over. Don't fall for those diagonal measurements if you're looking for area. That's only for perimeter. And on these pages, we just want the area. So we're always going to be looking for that height. That height is perpendicular. So it looks like this, and you have that right angle from that base to the height. Super important that we remember that. So be careful when looking for the height. The height is a vertical line. Sometimes you need to imagine it or draw it in that connects the bases. Because this is actually base 1, and this would be base 2. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. For the parallelogram, we just worry about that bottom base, base 1. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the base 1 and the base 2. But for today, we just worry about the bottom base. So we don't want the diagonal side. Cross those measurements off. Let's look at what that means. So it says calculate the area of each parallelogram. Let's look at our first one. Think about our area. Base times height. What am I going to multiply to find my area of our first shape? Kylie. Our base is that bottom base. Our height is that perpendicular line. We've got that little right angle. That is our height. We don't worry about the diagonal. So Kylie is absolutely right. To find our area, we're going to multiply base times the height. 12 times 6. What does that equal, Kylie? 72. So my area is 72. Notice how I wrote out my equation with the numbers that I'm plugging in. It's important we do that. Why? Why is it important that we write it out? Emma? Why do we need to show our work? Is it because I'm just mean and want to make you do extra work? Why do we show our work, Lexi?
Because it helps you know where you went wrong.
If you make a mistake, you can figure out where you went wrong. Oh, I accidentally put the diagonal in instead of the height. I can see my mistake, I can learn from it. So we're going to show our work. Write the equation. You can use your calculator to solve the equation, but write your equation that you're going to put into your calculator. Remember, if you have outside diagonals, we're just doing the area today, so we're just crossing it off. Let's look at this one. I see lots of numbers there. Any guess what numbers we want to use in our equation? Maddie. So Maddie has a great guess. She knows our height is 3. And she said, our base is that 6. Look carefully at our lines. What do you think we need to add to that, Lila? Why?
Because that's the entire base.
Yeah. We have this dotted line here, that's our height. That's not the outside of our parallelogram. The outside of our parallelogram is here, right? So we need our base to go all the way to the outside. So they broke up our base into 2 parts, but they're both a part of the base. So you need to add those 2 together for your complete base. Okay, so make sure that you're going from one end all the way to the other end for your bases. On the bottom, there's some review. So you make sure that you work on those reviews. Good reviews for us. Any questions on today's page? Okay, tomorrow is the triangle and trapezoid. I am going to be gone because I have a math workshop to go to, which I'm excited to go to over at Totino Grace. Mrs. Larson will be here. I already have my video made. I'll post it after school today for tomorrow's class. So make sure you bring your headphones to class tomorrow because you're going to listen to the video. Remember to find my video on my YouTube channel. Look for my playlist, Math 6, 20, 24, 25. Tomorrow's date is 4:30, so you'll get to see that 4:30 video tomorrow to learn about the area of triangles and trapezoids. Trapezoids are a new shape for us, so I don't want you trying to work ahead on it. Okay? So make sure that you are bringing your headphones and you come ready to work for Mrs. Larson, working on that math packet. They'd be working on that. I've had a number of people turning in for me to be checking them off. Make sure you're trying to get done as much as you can. Thank you to those of you giving me your attention and not being silly. All right, so this is work time now. Remember, we've got Khan Academy due on Thursday. Math packets due next week, Tuesday. I know you haven't seen the video yet for it, but you can be working on that packet even without watching the video. I've had a number of kids do the whole packet without needing the video. This is our way to challenge ourselves, making sure we're getting ready, because next week, Tuesday, when we take our math test, we're not gonna have a video to help us with word problems. Okay? See if you can figure it out yourself. All right, go ahead and quietly get to work. If you are at home watching this, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.